time zone. I hope you're fine. How are you? This is Prissy for you on Life Saga TV. Now, welcome again to this hot discussion of politics. Of course, in Kenya, I have a lot to talk about, but I've just not had enough time. And of course, I delayed this live stream because of some issues here and there. I did not have the audio working on my computer, and I had to get an option or alternative. So guys, the people from Jamaica, Wagwan, are you Ira? Is everything right? You know, from the Caribbean, Tobago, Wellington, which other place? Remind me of other places in the house. So I hope you're doing well. I'm doing well here. It's very cold over here. No wonder you can see me having covered myself with a Masai shuka. If you come to Kenya, this is one of the things you don't have to go without, yeah? So, we talked about the politics of Jamaica, and somebody corrected me saying that the man who used the FF a lot in one of the election, not election actually, but the rallies, just did apologize because of the pressure from the party. And remember the fact that parties are really representative of something. They are required to adhere to that. That's very good of you Jamaicans. And as I told you, I have a lot of interest in Jamaica's politics because I can see there is a lot of hope in Jamaica. Being one of the Caribbean sides near the seas with a lot of water, fuel, and possibly minerals, plus agriculture and all that, the fact that you eat a lot of organic food, you have a life almost common to what Kenyans have. In past, there was a lot of crime, and especially the single motherhood life and a lot of drugs. I know there is still some of that, but there is it has at least gone down if you compare to other places. I was also looking at the economy is rising very fast, and there is a lot of hope with your Prime Minister Holiness. And so the looming campaigns and elections tell a lot. So Miranda Willington gave rhetoric during one of the meetings, and of course people were very saddened with that. You know, in politics people pick something, one thing, and they'll go talking about it. So guys from Jamaica, tell me, what about what Miranda Wellington said? Is that just her language? You know, she's a former teacher. And I saw some lady coming out and saying that she did not expect that of Wellington. She's been supporting Wellington a lot, and she did not expect her to use come up with statement that would rather bring some kind of violence, or rather that. Yeah, we know very well that sometimes teachers are very vocal, radical, and some of them are independent-minded, and they come up with ideas. When they begin speaking, some of them want to speak in a way that they want to show authority. I don't know. I was looking at even when Wellington was in this meeting, the PNP campaign, and she said this. Maybe we can look at the video first before we go and analyze what you think here. But I really appreciate a lot of Jamaicans followed me, and I saw them following what I was doing and saying they really appreciate me for having, or rather showing interest in the Jamaican politics. And I said, yeah, I'm going to, I'm almost going to the Patua, but yeah, guys, so politics is one of the things that is very sweet, and if you don't follow it, then I don't know what you are for. I've been trying to look around the world, looking at Togo, looking at Kenya, looking at Congo, looking at Nigeria. And so I'm just trying to walk through the politics of the world. And of course, there is a lot that even happened over the weekend in Kenya, and I'm going to talk about it, and the fact that our President Ruto is planning to build a church. A whole church worth a lot of billions in the Parliament ground. I don't know what you think about that. So let's get to Miranda here before it's you get tired with what I'm saying. Maybe you came here because you wanted to see what Miranda Wellington gonna say. What about this? So let's listen to it and see our analysis.
So that we prepare
Yeah, so remember this was during campaign, and Wellington stood and saying that there was a war, that they are not going to take it easy. They'll have to win by war and war, right? So people did not take it very kindly that she used such a language, you know. In politics, sometimes you have to watch the kind of language you use because it will create ground for, you know, a difference of what people will think about what you want to say and what is really there. So remember, this was the moment here. Yeah. All right. So if you know, you know. So let's get back to what the people are saying. What the people are saying about what she said here. Yeah. And of course, PNP supporters from Jamaica Labour Party, that is Andrew Holiness, says that there is no discrimination, you know. There's a message to PNP supporters from Holiness. Let's hear.
National Party of Jamaica. The Jamaica Labour Party is the national party. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has reassured Jamaicans that his role is to serve all citizens, regardless of political.
Yeah, now, if you look at the message to PNP supporters from Jamaica Labour Party, and here is Andrew Holiness. Andrew Holiness says there is no discrimination. All right. Ellen Kamau Kibe retracted some message. I don't know what was there. Francis Kamau, sorry. I don't know exactly what Francis is saying, maybe. Welcome on board. Feel free, feel free. I'm talking about the politics of Jamaica, focusing on a specific candidate known as Wellington Miranda, a candidate that is vying for the MP of St. Vincent. She has been a teacher, and we expect that she understands the right language to use. Of course, there is a citizen, if I can get that, who really said that being a former teacher, or rather a teacher, she should understand what it means by language. Guys, language is a very powerful tool. Very. When politicians come to us, they use language. In Kenya, for example, you can see Gachagua is using language of relation. He has turned into politics of relation, calling people cousins, shemeji, brothers, you know. And when language is used in politics, Francis Kamau, I'm in Kenya, of course. I'm in Kenya. That is why I'm comparing Kenya, one person in Kenya and another in a different world, Jamaica. Of course, currently they are campaigning for posts. So I do political analysis and I do worldwide, even including USA. Only that during the time Trump was really vying for the post of presidential seat this year, I was not very, very active, but I did some things about that, and I did some about some Mora and the rest. Yeah. So I'm in Kenya. Francis Kamau, give me a like. Elvin Kamau Kibe, Francis Kibe says I am too. Yeah. Habari yako, because now Kenyans we say that hakuna matata. How are you? Habari yako Francis Kamau. Natumai umzima. Sijui kama uko city ama uko wapi. Which massive are you from? But I know kama uko Kenya, mambo ya kashwari. Although tunasikia mambo ya sabasaba, I don't know how it will be. Anyway. All right. So the language aspect is very important, right? in politics. Francis Kamau says nzuri sana pia, ingawa baridi ni imezidi Kenya. I hope tutatoboa anyway, because in Kenya hatuna winter, tuko tuna baridi, alafu kuna joto depending on where, na misimu inabadilika hapa na pale. So I am from Joy Village. Joy, where is Joy Village? I've never heard of that village. Francis Kamau, your village iko wapi? Alright, so tukiendelea in this live, wale amjui Miranda Wellington, anatafuta kiti cha ubunge kule Wellington, kule Jamaica, St. Vincent, right? So matamshi yake ya juzi ya kufurahisha wa Jamaica, especially the opposition, or rather the other party, that is the JLP, Jamaica Labour Party, because for her she's in PNP. So Holiness, of course, has come up saying that for us, JLP, we don't discriminate in their green attire. While, all right, so Joy Village is in Ruiru. Okay, I've been in Ruiru, even KU areas, then pale juu kwa soko, market center, huku nyuma kwenye kuna kind of railway na industry. Alafu kule mbele kuna pale wanauza nguo kwa vibanda the other side, alafu huku siji kuna company fulani. Then in front there was one relative alikuwa anaishi pale mbele kabla uanze kwenda Kiambu. Yeah, so I understand those areas. Francis Kamau, Ruiru is a very good place with people rearing a lot of cattle, and goats and what have you, sheep, na kuna kahawa nyingi. So you people are lucky mko na kahawa hata muhisi baridi sana. Lakini Ruiru is also called because it's bordering Kiambu, and on the other side mbele Limuru. Ukianza kwenda juu, of course you get to TIK. All right. Thank you, Kamau. I'm so proud of Kenyans who are following me, because actually, when you do support me here, even for 1 minute or 2 or 3, it's a great thing, right? So I am talking about Miranda. And Miranda, unlike Karen NYAMU in Kenya, she's been a former teacher. And so people are like, why did she come up jumping and saying, it's war, we will win by war. PNP, we must do it to change our society, you know. That was her speech. If you can go research, because I had done already another video just to show interest in the aspects of Jamaican politics. And I'm so happy. A lot of brothers and sisters came here to support me, telling me that they really like that I have interest in Jamaican politics, and they can correct me where necessary if I'm saying maybe not in line with what is happening there, because I'm just doing from virtual line while they are doing from the ground. So when I look at Holiness, for example, though there were some corrupt issues, questions raised earlier, of late people are celebrating him. So I don't know. And here still we can see like he's going back as he calls for no discrimination. Now on media, Miranda came up to dismiss the fact that people are claiming that she said wrong. This is what she said. Let's check on this. This is what she said.
So guys, I want to bring the video to one, but I never really want to bring it, you know. Yeah, because, you know, like when people do things where they know them wrong, and then come and try to either justify it or make excuse for it. I don't like that. But like people who are adults, and when they're wrong, they say, listen, I know I'm wrong, and I'm sorry, I'm never fix it, or something like that. But don't come make no excuse when you're wrong. No, Miranda realized that she's under fire.
Okay, I can't get her TikTok, the real truth, but I'm trying to get it. Yeah, so guys, I had to just receive and respond to that phone call, then we'll proceed. Now Miranda came up on TikTok she just decided to respond using a TikTok video. I'm finding it difficult to get it, but she came up on TikTok video indicating that she cannot even hurt a fly. Let's see this. I think it is this, not this. Yeah, so she came up with a response after people were really having a backlash. And she was like, I can't hurt even a fly. She has been an educator. It is indicated that she's been teaching for so long. And of course, people expect she knows what's the right thing to do, right? So if I don't get that TikTok video, I don't know. There was an explosive video she gave indicating that she cannot even hurt a fly. She's the most, she's the least person who would want a conflict, That's what she was saying. Yeah, here. Yeah, here it is. I don't know why the voice is so low.
I know when I stand
Yeah,
up
here
and
it
speak
is.
out, because I'm a passionate person, and the people of Southwest, because when they into the entire speech, it took me 3 hours to get to Westmoreland. 3 hours. You know the kind of inefficiency, that affects productivity in this country. If you take 3 hours to go to a neighboring parish, where is the people money? And there's a plethora of issues. The people see me as a fighter for them, because when they have their sick ones who can't get health care in a timely manner, being at a hospital sitting on a chair for 4 hours, I'm the one they call. When it is that they are finding it challenging to figure out where their next meal is coming. I live in a farming community, and it's bare grass, guinea grass, because farmers have been put on the backbench, and no special attention.
Yeah, so you realize in that video, Miranda is not trying to say that I'm wrong or right. She's just giving information about her role in the society. Of course, trying to still sip the supporters, right? What about those who are complaining? Because she should have come up and say, yeah, I know the word I used is wrong. But here, she's still giving excuses, right? And that's why some people still feel that she's still responsible for what she said. So let's proceed to listen.
The little resources that they have been given have been taken from them. And now when I stand up and speak out, because I'm a passionate person, and the people of Southwest know that I'm going to be fighting for them, when I speak out, it's because this is not a fair war that will take place. That's what I mean. This is not a fair...
Guys, if you talk in public, and especially if you're a leader, sometimes you have to really check on your words. Because the context of your communication, if you say that you're going to win by war, it means that you're ready to use violence to win. That's the simple understanding of every other person. Before you come and begin explaining that maybe you are the fighter of your people, even the word fight again still doesn't sound well. However passionate you are, however harmless you are, people may take that as a way, that you're pushing violence. In Kenya, some people do say that and they just go scot-free. And they later come and say, what I meant was this, not that. You heard recently Gachagua justifying that when he said that the police should use force to hold or rather guard the city, he meant that they should do that within the rights. But now here, I don't know Jamaican situation. Maybe the Jamaicans in the house will be telling me to understand whether the interpretation for anybody else, a layman that is, how would they understand what Miranda said?
Fair battle. This is not a fair political challenge because people are doing things to ensure that they remain in power. And the people are afraid to speak up. And if I, as their leader, cannot speak up for them, then they feel that there is no one for them. I do not.
Now let me ask, Miranda comes here and says that if she doesn't speak for the people, there's nobody who will speak for the people. But my question is, when she uses the language fight, war, battle, when she says people do some things and they force themselves into leadership, and this time round we are going to win by war. Tell me, people, what did she exactly mean? If they try to rig, for example, what will happen? How will they win, you know?
Support political violence. I do not support any violence. Everybody knows I'm barely 5 foot tall. And I'm a peace-loving person. Everybody knows that I'm the first one to quell an argument, disperse a dispute.
So Jamaicans in the house, does everybody in Jamaica, especially St. Vincent, understand that Miranda is the most peaceful person and the last person to fight it because she's 5 feet? She's justifying guys that were, because she's 5 feet, she cannot even start a war. Does the height of a person define whether you are violent or not? I've seen in Kenya people are very short going to war. I've seen tall people going to war. I've seen all sorts of leaders going to war.
And that's some of the qualities that I'm best known for. So my political head is political victimization. And I understand the game of the politics. You know, you bring down your opponent for things that seems like nothing in any other time, but...
All right, so of course one of the respondents from Jamaican grounds saw this as an excuse that she's dismissing everybody for what they think. So let's get to hear, of course, the defense. It's kind of a video, not an audio, so let's listen to what the PNP said to defend Miranda Wellington here.
Media unit.
This is Dr. Dayton Campbell, General Secretary of the People's National Party. I want to make it absolutely clear. The recent attacks on Miranda Wellington, our candidate for Southwest St. Elizabeth, are dishonest and deeply hypocritical. So Wellington said, "We are prepared for war, and if a war, a war." That was not a threat. It was a metaphor, the kind used every day in political and public life. From the war and crime to ground wars in election, it's a way of expressing readiness, not violence. The Jamaica Labour Party knows this, but instead of...
Oh, so Wagwan, people from Jamaica. I can hear the PNP defending Miranda, saying that that's a common phrase that everybody uses in everyday life. You know, like me as a Kenyan, I wouldn't understand that. You know, in Kenya, when somebody says there is war, then it means maybe possibly they're ready to fight tooth and nail, to use whichever means, even if it's crude means, to get to what they want. So I can actually now hear the member defending Miranda saying this. And they are saying that even the JLP understand that they're just smearing, condemn hypocrisy, and they're using intimidation to pull down the female candidate. I don't know. I don't know whether that is the situation.
of addressing their own record of incitement, from Darrell Vaz to Desmond McKenzie and Everett Warmington, the JLP has a well-documented culture of inflammatory language and provocation. And while there was a belated apology on one single occasion from Mr. Warmington, the broader pattern of hostile behavior from within the JLP has never been meaningfully addressed,
Yeah, and so guys, of course, I had had that Wilmington speech when he was using the fair words, and later on he came to apologize after the pressure from PNP. And it seems like a game of cat and mouse. I don't know. It depends. I hope that Jamaica will have a peaceful election. You'll have peaceful campaigns, and inflammatory statements from maybe whichever party will not continue dominating in the environs, so that everything goes cool. You know, we like with when everything is idle, though sometimes life is just another difficult palaver, and you won't expect everything to come to a silver platter just like that, you know.
By the party's leadership. Darrell Vaz in particular has been seen on multiple occasions, including Portland, St. Ann, and on the JLP annual conference stage, running his finger across his throat to indicate he planned to cut the throats of his opponents, who happened.
Hey guys, so the defender here is bringing it on, saying that we have seen JLP, especially Wilmington plus others he has mentioned earlier, showing even pointing at a throat, a finger at a throat. Of course, that means I'm going to kill you. So they normally use that language. So they're just trying to, you know, create a saga against Wellington, what we call propaganda. I don't know what Jamaicans in the house will be saying, because as I post this, I expect that you respond to it and tell me what you think about this politics here.
To be PNP members and supporters. The hypocrisy is not lost on the general public. Let's not forget, for months, our female candidates have faced real threats, intimidation, and disruption. Much of it carried out by operatives brought in from outside. These have been reported to the police high command and the political ombudsman. What we're seeing.
Okay, so we're getting it that Miranda seems to be frustrated. They are trying to frustrate her, intimidate her, and bring her down, just like they have been doing to many other female candidates. So let's hope that if that is the situation, then Miranda will not give up, because she said she's a real fighter, in quotes, not fighter on the war front, but fighter in politics. Now let's come back to Kenya, because I normally like having a contrast, or rather a comparison of Kenya and elsewhere. Now in Kenya, we've had Millie Ojambo, of course. We've had, who else is strongly defending position, Martha Karua. But we have a very controversial nominated, you know, individual here into the government. And this is Karen NYAMU, you know. She speaks sometimes in Kiswahili, in Sheng, and whatever she says most of the time, not right. And for her, she tends to use a sexual language that is not quite right. So let's listen to the latest rough aspect here.
Unajifanya wewe ni mwanaume atakuwa rafu. Nikwambia bali unafaa kuwa rafu. Si hata heri ukue bedroom bully, ukue rafu hapo kwa bed. Hiyo ndio rafu. What's happening? So I'm saying the only roughness we enjoy as women, it's in bed. Nani yeah, hiyo ingine kama unafanya hiyo ingine ya kupiga dem coffee, uko down, uko chini tu sana, uko ndogo. Okay, na umeband.
Imagine, that's her for us. That's Karen NYAMU in Kenya. Sometimes she causes laughter, but I don't just like the way she uses blunt language in public. You know, most youth look towards her, and sometimes when she just says these things, you can be ashamed in public. Let me get another situation where she really humiliated us. In fact, if Jamaica, you really watch Kenya, you've seen that she went to America, and she was demanding to be given VIP treatment. She did not want to be checked or go through the process of the airport in the normal way. Then she went on to record a fella at the airport without his consent. In fact, the rules in the airport do not allow such recording, but she went on to do so. We've seen her twerking also and just like a young girl. Yeah. In Parliament, she's also given very controversial statements such as Jensini Wajinga, such statements that are not palatable. And I don't want to say Miranda is in such a state, but I was just looking at the use of language.
We're excited to present
And
our remarkable diesel type JV.
of course, Nyamu is
That's
ready
dirty.
for anything as long as it suits her day. Sometimes she claims that she's a ghetto girl, so she can't avoid it. But I just tend to say this is her personality. Yeah. So, of course, when I compare Nyamu, Karen in Kenya, the nominated female leader, and MP vying for the post of St. Vincent, then I tend to see that Miranda kind of is sober or understanding, or rather, from now the point of view of the defense, maybe you'll be telling me, the Jamaican fellas here, you'll be telling me whether this is true or not. Now let's just look at one other video here by Nyamu.
For gravity.
Hey, that's it. Imagine. That's
and crassness for charisma, tossing out juvenile jabs as if they are pearls of wisdom.
Tushapata ball ingine. Wewe mwanaume ni mfate.
Is she a social media maven or a gift that keeps on giving endless drama? From twerking videos and a love life so tangled, it could double as a plot twist in a telenovela. Truly, Karen is the gold standard of elegance, a shining example of what happens when you meet. And does nothing but twerk and talk BS to build trust, or perhaps rebuild it. Data. Either. Word spreading in villages and markets too. Whether this turns out into something bigger like protests remain to be seen.
Yeah, so guys, that is Karen Nyamu for us. And if you follow her story, Jamaicans, you will understand what I'm talking about here. So I'm not really saying that she's ever talked about violence the way Miranda does, but she uses very vulgar language. You see, the language of fingers, sometimes even words, out of context. There is a time she called the Gen Zs foolish. Akasema, Gen Zs ni mafala. Mafala is a very bad word. It's not even foolish. It's more than foolish, And you've just seen an example of what I've shown to you. There's a time she was in Parliament after the death of Ojwang, and she said another controversial statement, So as a nominated Senate, she really violates even the dress code of the House. Very controversial in the advice she gives. Even commenting on others, for example, saying that they staged their own arrest. Yeah. Those are the kind of statements Nyamu gives. So this is a very short reaction we had. Let's wait for more because, of course, Kenya, we had a lot of drama, and we are looking at this aspect of the president claiming that previously there was a Mabati charge around the parliament, and so he's going to build a church worth how many billions? If you've heard it, just drop in my comment section and I'll be doing some reaction over that, because it is what it is. If you don't talk about these things, we won't really be relevant, and we will see them passing and happening, and we'll be asking questions, yet somebody will ask us, where were we? Did we ever raise an alarm or talk about it? How did we feel about it? So bye-bye for now. Have a nice time. I'm being reminded here of prayer. Goodbye.